I think it's important to take a second and reflect on time spent, effort spent, results, and not only in your personal life, right? But also your creative world, whatever that may be. And I often find that when I do this exercise, when I just go back over everything I've done, how it was executed, what the end result was, what could have been done better, what were the wins, what were the opportunities, yada, yada, yada. There's always these lessons that appear, these life lessons. It's such a crazy thing. Um, and as I stepped into this new season of fatherhood, there's this fog around the entire experience. There's this fog of returning to work as a father. There's this fog of showing up in my creative world, in my business, and my husbandship, right? Like my identity was being reshaped before my very eyes. And it was a very uncomfortable feeling because it was not something that I could have exercised any meaningful amount of control. And it was a very tough time for me. It was a very interesting adjustment period. And during that time, I had a client reach out. They'd booked me for a one year old's birthday party in Pennsylvania. And it probably served as some time for me to get away from the home, get away from the family dynamics that was ever shifting, right? And I'm not only talking my wife and my daughter, I'm talking like just the entire family. There was so much that was going on. I was like, wow, this is a lot. This is a lot. So when the client reached out, the booking was very welcome, and I agreed to do it. And it was a 3-hour event at their home. And what really stood out about that event was this couple's. It was a very nice home, very nice area in Pennsylvania, and this was their first, right? So we're starting to build those parallels. And their home was just a beautiful place to be. And they hired a catering company. They hired a bartender and some servers. Um, they had someone build out the basement, decorate the basement. It was beautiful decor. And I think the basement had seating for, let's call it 30 people, right? Just to give you the scale of the home. It was very nicely done. I mean, everything about it I thought was super dope. And they had a life size cutout of the baby and books to sign. And I wasn't feeling confident in my personal family dynamic. And what was interesting about that experience of shooting, capturing that family's moment, uh, it felt nice. It felt like difficulties and challenges are not only fleeting because they come and go, right? But the point is they go. And when they go, they often leave behind the progress. They leave behind the reward for the hard work. And I left that home with a renewed energy. I was happy to get home, and I'd shared on this channel the challenges we had in our home in this space, and it was like, wow, as my home, physical home, become more and more together, what we wanted to be as a family. We're starting to experience these life moments in the home that's like, wow, we're doing it. This place, these four walls are becoming a place where we build memories for our family and generations to come. And seeing someone that was a little bit farther along in the process was, it was invigorating. It was definitely a renewal of energy. And I really appreciated that, right? And that I consider that something that, because I often say photography is a gift. The things we do as photographers, the way we invoke emotion and we capture moments and freeze time, it's a gift. It's not something to be taken lightly. And that experience reminded me of that. And it served as a debate point when I got in my head while I'm in the trenches dealing with my family stuff and yada, yada, yada. Shortly thereafter, I was like a few months later, one of my recurring clients reached out, and they wanted me to come by and capture their second son's first birthday. And I'd captured the first son's birthday, and I'd capture the moment where they brought the little brother home to meet the big brother from the hospital for the first time. So I'm very much their family photographer, and I'm really enjoying that moniker, right? Like, this is everything I've wished for. Like, if I had another 5 or 6 families like this, I'd be totally happy in my business. So they'd call me over, and this is to the point with this family where they really do treat me like a family member. Like, when I come through the door, it's, hey, Ramon, you know where everything is. Grab some water if you need it. Grab some coffee. Do your thing. Set up. I'll be back. I got stuff to do, right? It's like the level of trust that they have, because I've been there. I've met grandparents from both sides. I've met cousins, aunts, family friends. Like, I'm in there. And I get to see this particular family in a very raw place that reminds me of my own situation. And it's not that the first family doesn't have these raw moments. I just don't know them like that. And it's crazy, because the mom of the second family, as she's walking by, she's giving me this look like, yo, these grandparents be doing the most. And then the husband walks by a few minutes later and does the same thing, like, I just can't wait for everybody to get the hell out of my house. And I just remember feeling seen, but also this sense of comfort, because I wasn't alone. Like, family stuff is not easy. And my wife and I have gotten into so many conversations, so many debates, so many arguments about family and direction and roles and like all of it. And in the moment, I feel like, why can't we just be normal? There is no normal. Like, and you kind of learn, we all go through these things. And what's interesting about it is, going back to what I said, there is no progress without the struggle. And no matter how much my wife tried to show me that, friends tried to show me that, right? I understood what they were saying, but there was still this part of me that's like, nah, I don't like this. It shouldn't be like this. This is unacceptable. You know what I mean? And it's like, but here I am. When I sat back and I looked at what I've done, because I do this exercise, I'd say every 6 months, where I sit back and I look through my notes, and I do versions of it. I do versions of it in my business. I do versions of it in my creative world. I do versions of it in my family, in my career. And just for me, right? Like, am I performing at the level I should be in Overwatch 2? Right? Like, this is very much a part of who I am. I've made this a habit to always, every 6 months, reassess and ask myself difficult questions. Am I going in the right way? Am I going in the way I want to be going? What are my wins? What are my losses? You know, X, Y, and Z. And as I sat back and I looked at these two events, family, the first family was very much polished and very much like, wow, this is dope. I love how they did this. Everyone looks so happy. And in the second family, who also has all of that, right? It also kind of looks polished. It also is dope. The house is very nice. But I just happen to have the in. I happen to be on the inside and I see things a little more raw. I saw the balance. I saw the balance. And the balance was the shiny and the grit. And when you embrace them both, you know you are on the right path. And this is why I will continue to be an advocate for the creative arts. I will continue to be an advocate for people to find hobbies, to get passionate about things, because no one was really getting through to me, including myself. My photography did. And here I am with a gift that I give to others, and that gift itself gave to me. Time is the most valuable resource that we have here in this space, in this life, in this universe. And I would love to thank you for yours. I do not take it lightly that you spent the time you spent with me here today to listen to my story. I really appreciate it. My name is Ramon. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you like it. I'm out of here. Peace.